What's up, guys? Thanks for swinging into iTip Report. My name is Iveriani. I hope all is well with you. So, I see everybody's all up in arms about the election, but I'm going to tell you right now, I am not fazed by any of it. I just think it's a hot mess, and it's just horrible. It's just like the powers that be, they're just running game on the people. I mean, straight up, they're running game. So I feel like now, and I've been saying this for a few years, especially when Game of Thrones came out, I was like, yo, when I started watching Game of Thrones, and I was very late to start watching it, I was like, yo, I said, what happened? What's happening then? This is now the modern day Game of Thrones. And when I thought about that, I'm like, I thought about my favorite cover. It has nothing to do with Game of Thrones and everything, but this is my favorite cover, right? It's MF Doom vinyl. It's not open. I'm never going to open it unless I get another copy somewhere. But I love this cover. And I'm going to tell you, even though this has nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now, I'm going to tell you, when I go outside, I'm in New York, I feel like I have to put on a Game of Thrones mask, the armor of God. I feel like this is the armor. I got to put on the armor of God to go outside and protect myself and make sure I'm okay, because times are different right now. You know, and for this, and I'm looking at this vinyl, I had it for a very long time. I got it at Fat Beats. And I was just like, curls in all caps. And that's what I think of when I think about the election. They curling it up to make it look good and tell you the truth about stuff, and then they cap it, which they lie. Yo, salutes to the life and legacy. Rest in peace to the life and legacy of MF Doom, because he was ahead of his time. Whether this is relatable to what's going on or not, MF Doom was ahead of his time. Curls and caps. I can relate that and flip it to this. But nevertheless, I'm just like, the food is expensive. Health insurance, car insurance. The food, a lot of times what I'm noticing, and if you can relate, put it in the comment section, the food is not tasting the same. I used to could go to the store and get certain things, and now either they have made, and I know we just got off the food, but they made it what you used to get the value of it, and it wasn't crazy expensive. They made it smaller now, the products, and they charging you more for it. And I'm just like, this whole situation is a mess, and I just don't believe in the system. I feel like we've all been lied to on so many occasions. And let me tell you, this Diddy situation, it's alarming. But what I don't really see too many people talking about, I would say one person that mentioned anything with Jaguar Wright, shout outs to her. She said, yo, and I said, I had been said the same thing. We haven't seen Diddy getting arrested, like a live footage. Not that you want to see a black man, not that you want to see a black man down and out and going on a downfall, getting arrested. But, the media says, oh, Diddy's arrested. But the question is, have we really seen that? Have we seen him in court? You can't have cameras in court. Like, everything is so weird. And I'm just like, all these years, Diddy has been allegedly doing all this stuff for what, 20, 30 years, and no one said anything, and then all of a sudden, we have to question, like, is he the fall guy for this? And it's so crazy. I have a mini story. I was young, in my 20s, was born in Brooklyn, right? This pertaining to Diddy. Born in Brooklyn, went away to school, moved down south, then went to HBCU, came back, My goal was to work for a record label. You know, this is before I knew all the shenanigans and stuff that I knew now. I wanted to work for a record label and get my work done and be successful. That's it. I didn't know nothing about the shenanigans, the doors, none of that, you know? And when I moved to New York, you know, I said, you know, I'm going to work in another field, but I'm going to do what I love on the side, which is work in the music business, right? Got invited to a lounge party, right? With somebody was working that me and my associate was what we knew, and they were working at a label, right? This was the first day we ran into Diddy. I can't even remember the lounge. It was somewhere in Manhattan. The lounge was on the corner, right? So I'm like, wow, this is gonna be good networking, right? So I go in there, me and my friends, go in there. It's football players. It even was executive label. It was label execs in there. It was somebody from Duck Down in there, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna start networking, making my rounds, because I really wanna I know I have something to bring to the table as far as ideas and stuff, and I want to work for a label. I did get one business card from one record label, and then I saw Diddy, right? But for whatever reason, I will tell you, and my friend at the time, that person knew Diddy, right? He knew him, he dapped him up. Then we got in, because it was like an exclusive lounge type, right? So after I got my first business card, I'm standing there and I'm just like, okay, should I introduce myself? You know, I really want to work at a record label. And this is really before I knew or heard or started hearing the rumors about Diddy. And so I'm gonna kid you not, I was well dressed. I had on a cute dress and was sitting there contemplating. I was contemplating for about 15 to 20 minutes if I'm going to walk up and introduce myself. And you know what? That was God, because I'm going to tell you right now, I was contemplating, you know, and I said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. No one did anything to me. Everybody was nice to me. It wasn't nothing weird. I was just like, nah. I said, you know what? If it was meant for me, maybe this is God. I know it was God, but my intuition was kicking in. It was like, you know what? If you see him next time, because I'm going to be networking all over the place. If you see him next time, then you'll introduce and see what happens. But I was like, this is not the time. This is what my mind was telling me, and I believe it was God. And I said to myself, I didn't tell anyone or anything, even tell my homegirl. And I never introduced myself to Diddy. And you know what? After that night, I didn't even think nothing about it. You know, it was a lounge, it was music, dancing, pretty much it, nothing major. And yeah. And years later, I started hearing stuff. And then I started hearing about how women were getting abused and all of this working at the record labels. I was like, oh no. So I'm going to tell you, thank you, God. I did not introduce myself to Diddy because I want to work at a label. Just imagine if it was the other way around. You got to think about it. You just never know how life stares you. You could be all in like, you could be like thinking that you're gonna be successful by who you meet and stuff. And I realized my life was saved because I didn't know all the stuff that was going on, and I could have been a victim. And I have to thank God for that. And I wonder how many people, I know it's a bunch of people out there, they may have a story like this, but from what we're hearing and people that know, Diddy has been doing this for years. You know? And it's just alarming. And I'm just saying, like, this whole situation with Diddy, it's like years later, you have to ask yourself, like, okay, why now? And I know because people were mentioning about he pissed off the hands that fed him, you know, with the Ciroc deal and Melissa. It could be a variety of things, but the reality is, guys, he's not the only one. It's probably a bunch of Diddies, but even worse. And people are saying that they're allegedly naming names and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this is a whole mess. I'm like, we have been bamboozled, like, to the extreme. You know, I actually met Biggie when I was in college, before I had moved back to New York. You know, he came to my dorm. I did a video, a story time about it. It was a good experience. He was calm, quiet, nice. I met Biggie, and it's like, wow, like, you see all of this stuff that's going on now. You like, thank you, God. And I know I probably am not the only person that had that experience to be like, yo, if I would have met Diddy, you know, would I even be alive? You just never know, because you're hearing all these horror stories. But overall, what I'm saying is, I don't condone what he did. That was the stuff that they're saying he did, and everything is very evil. And I hope justice is served. But I do feel, I feel sorry for the kids. I hope they're able to get through this situation, because they have a long life, hopefully, ahead of them. And I just feel like, you know, Diddy has messed up his legacy. And not just only Diddy, so many other people, execs, artists. We're starting to find out a bunch of stuff about artists, and I'm just like, yo. And then, you know, independently, when you're working in the music business, what people and fans don't understand is, sometimes you and me, if you're in my positions or other positions, maybe higher than me, you meet artists that the music is dope and everything. And guess what? You'll find out that they're not really a good person, that they do have a lot of issues. I have a video, well, by the time this video comes out, I have a video about Ari Lennox, right? And she talked about mental health. And she said she didn't want to be the face of mental health. And I'm going to tell her, like I said in that video, I don't believe she's the face of mental health. Because I will tell you, all artists have mental health issues. And as you can see with the whole situation with Diddy, he definitely has severe mental health issues. And probably also experienced a lot of trauma. You know, I know that people are coming down on him and all of that, and I get it, because, you know, you made your bed, you lie in it. However, I would like to know, in regards to Diddy, what brought him to this point where he was ruining a lot of people's lives. You know, I just want to know, like, you know, something could have happened that he was doing that. But like I said, with the media, you can't believe everything they say, because they'll say, you know, he's arrested and we haven't seen anything. I still don't believe it until I know for sure. I probably wouldn't see it unless I go to Brooklyn to the courthouse and see him coming out the courthouse. You know, that's the same thing in regards to other situations. Like, perfect example, Afghanistan. They said, oh, people trying to get out of there and everything. And I just remember seeing that plane. They had all those people getting on the plane, trying to hold on to the plane. And then I realized something's wrong because somebody was, like, when you see the footage of that, somebody was waving. Like, they're waving high. And I'm like, how you have time to be waving high when you're trying to survive? And then I realized it was CGI. So what I'm telling you guys is to pay attention to what media is trying to feed you. It is not, it's not a real reality when you really think about it. Like, for me personally, I need facts. But I kid you not, I feel like my life was saved from not meeting Diddy. But I would tell you, I would say the election is over now. So between now and December, we're probably going to see some crazy stuff or hear about some crazy stuff. And definitely 2025, we're going to hear about some crazy stuff about celebrities or whatever, as well as Diddy. That's if he's still around. The word on the sheet is that he's not in jail. That's what they're saying. People that work in the jail are saying Diddy ain't there. And that's what I was telling people that I knew. I was like, I don't think he's arrested. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Now, let me tell you about the weather. The weather is beautiful in NYC. It is November. And it's 70-some degrees. Even though we are enjoying it, excuse me, that's if you're in the New York area. You know, or on the East Coast, if you're experiencing it. Because I know some places they're having snow. But in New York, I'm like, what? For the past 2 weeks, it has been wonderful. And I'm like, this is shocking. No coats. I don't want to get sick, though. I thank God that I'm here as well as here on earth with other people to experience this. But guys, I know this is not good for weather. This is not good for the earth. I'm saying weather. This is not good for the earth. It's supposed to be cold in New York and freezing and maybe some snow. And back in the day, growing up, we used to get a lot of snow. We don't even hardly get that now. But I'm not going to talk too soon because you